So let me ask you, Mahtty, is there something about your personality or is there a characteristic about you that you think makes you really successful?
So I've been told, and I believe it also, that I have a servant's heart, and I don't mean go serve people as in be taken advantage of, but serve for the sake of serving, so that good comes of it for all. And so just have a servant's heart, and know that when you give, it's good for all. And I always think about how I want to be treated.
Good afternoon to all of you curious real estate licensees. I'm JoAnne Williams, CEO of JWilliams Staffing. We are a temporary staffing, temp to hire, and direct placement firm specializing in new home sales, property management, and all associated real estate support services. Our prospective candidates that we interview for our homebuilder clients are required to have a real estate license in most states. So consequently, one of the questions we find ourselves answering the most is comparing selling new homes compared to selling real estate. Residential real estate, providing buyers with their dream homes. There are several parallels between these two careers, and there are some differences. My team and I thought it would be interesting and fun to talk about both of these careers with two outstanding superstars, one from new home sales and one from resale. Both of these highly successful individuals love their chosen careers. Our first superstar is a new home sales legend. Mahtty is a California real estate broker and currently with Toll Brothers. Toll's a luxury national home builder. While at Toll, Mahtty was recognized as the #1 sales manager for 2 consecutive years and the first member of Toll's Southern California division to sell and close over $100 million in new homes in 12 months. She's a 2-time winner of the National Association of Home Builders National Sales Professional of the Year Award. This is a big deal. And both in 2017 and again in 2020. She's a certified new home sales professional and has received numerous local building industry awards for her accomplishment. Mahtty started her career when she was 20 years old, and she continues to thrive and love the home building business. Our next superstar is JJ Kanick, owner and corporate broker at Kanick Brothers Real Estate here in Southern California. JJ also obtained his real estate and broker's license in his early 20s. He started his company with his brother Carl during the financial crisis in 2009. This is their 11th year in business. Kanick Brothers do something I found really innovative and customer-centric. They offer full service to their clients. In other words, they have interior design services, furniture and staging, landscaping, photography, interior 3D walkthroughs on a floor plan, and it kind of rounds out the whole service. JJ is very bullish on real estate investing for the long term and has been incredibly successful, ranking in the top 1% of realtors worldwide. And he loves his chosen career in real estate. On a side note, JJ and his wife are expecting their 3rd daughter in less than a month. So let's jump in, find out a little bit more about why these two superstars love what they do and what advice they have if you're considering selling residential real estate. So let's start with you, JJ. What is the #1 reason that you decided to get into resale real estate? And did somebody encourage you in the beginning to get you started?
Well, thank you for such a wonderful introduction. #1 thing that drove me was an interest in real estate from an early age, as far as just liking the different aspects. Nice part about it, if you go into real estate, whether it be new home sales, residential, you get to see remodeling taking place. You get to do the valuation aspect. There's just a lot of different pieces to the puzzle. So you could actually specialize in a number of different items. And I always wanted to work with my brother. So residential real estate brokerage gave me the opportunity to do 2 things I love, an industry that I love and work with my brother, who I love and love working with.
Oh, that's great. Oh my gosh. How about you, Mahtty? What was the #1 reason you got into home building? And did somebody encourage you in the beginning?
Yes, actually, my brother encouraged me. I was going to school selling clothes for Resale. And I actually was their youngest manager at the time out of 65 stores. And they had me open Main Place Mall. And I was 18 and a half or so. And I had 17 young girls working for me that I was managing. And at one point, my brother said, you know, you obviously are their top selling manager at such a young age. Why don't you go sell new homes like that nice lady did that we bought a home from in Yorba Linda? And I thought, well, that sounds interesting. And right about the same time as God would have it, the security guard at the mall brought me Donald Trump's book, Art of the Deal. And, and he said, I think you should have this book, which was so interesting that he did that. And so I started reading it, and I just fell in love with the idea of real estate. And so while going to school, I studied also for my license, and I decided that I wanted to build big high rises. And I started interviewing with commercial real estate companies. And actually, I was interviewing them to find out, you know, what part of commercial real estate I wanted to get into. So actually, it was my brother and the security guard.
Oh, that's great. All right. So if somebody was thinking about getting their real estate license, which I think maybe some of our viewers are today, considering, you know, it's an investment. It takes some time. You've got to, you know, put some work into it. If they were going to do that, what advice would you give them about setting their career expectations in new homes? We'll stay with you for a second there, Mahtty.
So with new home sales, I was actually referred to the industry from one of the commercial real estate guys after being with them for 4 years. The market took a turn, and they said, if you still want to continue, you know, paying your bills, why don't you go sell new homes and join a real estate temp company? So I actually did temp for a day and absolutely loved it and got picked up right away. Now, expectation-wise, please do not expect to be picked up right away. However, you are getting exposure and you're getting a chance to interview with different builders while you're on site. And I think that's a wonderful thing. And keep in mind, you're interviewing them to see which builder maybe you like. So have your expectations where you're gaining by being there, and they're gaining from you as well.
That's excellent. What about you, JJ? Somebody was thinking about going into resale real estate. What advice would you give them, and how would you help them keep their expectations real?
Probably less watching of the real estate TV shows would be probably step one. And then step two would be, don't expect fast success. It's a process. It does take time. I think the biggest bummer for me is seeing some people start and then stop before they even get the benefit of all the rewards of their hard work that they already put in. So I like to see, extend your time horizon out. This is an absolutely phenomenal career if you stick with it. Anybody who sticks with it makes it. And I do really believe that if you extend your time horizon out and plan for 5 years from now and not so much the near term, you're going to end up with a career that you love. You're going to be working with people that you end up really getting to know and loving. And I just think it's wonderful overall if you have that extended time horizon. If you think it's going to be like the TV shows, you know a lot of people, you just make some phone calls, deals get put together. I wish it worked that way. It doesn't.
No doubt. Well, that's great. Was there something that you discovered, JJ, about resale that was different than what you expected? I know the time thing is like definitely a critical factor because it does take time, but anything else that you discovered?
Yeah, I think in addition to the time factor, I did not realize coming in how emotional the selling and purchasing of real estate is and can be. I mean, you've got a transaction that has a lot of moving parts. You don't control all of it. So as a realtor and a real estate agent, there's only so much you can control. You're moving the process along, but you can't control emotions, one, which you can do everything right, but if the other side isn't playing ball, it can be a pretty stressful process. So starting in the financial crisis and going through that, and getting to see the emotions and the hard times a lot of people had fallen on during those times, and going to those listing appointments and seeing people selling their houses for sometimes less than what they were previously worth, I got a real wake-up call to just how emotional the selling process can be. So I would say that was something that coming in, I definitely did not have a good grasp of, but now being as far along as I am, I do have a clear understanding, and it really helps because time allows you to understand what people are going through. You know, a lot of people are selling their homes and leaving a lot of memories. Kids grew up there. They got married when they were in that house. Those are intense things for people in their lives, and you can understand why it's so important to them when they sell, that they feel like they're leaving their home to another good family or to another person that they like. So I think that is a big factor.
That's great. Yeah, and that's probably one of those things that they have to kind of maneuver through, but having a little advice on the front end is really, I think that's really a great thing. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. What about you, Mahtty? Was there anything that you discovered about new home sales that was contrary to what you expected?
I didn't expect to love it as much as I do. Starting out in commercial and being here with top guys in Newport Beach, I had a little bit of an ego at a young age, and I thought, I don't sell homes. You know, I work with you men. And so I really didn't think it was for me, and it ended up being like a fish in water for me. I absolutely loved it, especially working with even first-time buyers. I loved, and probably because we were about the same age at the time, but just really helping and guiding, and because of the experience I had, I was able to figure out finances for them really quickly and get creative. And so most amazing training I had, I was able to bring into new home sales and really just help a lot of families, and just fell in love with the industry.
I love it. Was there a particular time or something that happened where you just sort of said to yourself, I know I made the right decision?
You just gave me the chills. Yes. You may recall who Dick Austin is. And he was,
I do.
Yes. So it was one of my first few communities. I think I was about 3 years into selling new homes. And there was a beautiful lady and her daughter who were about 10 years old, and they wanted to buy a home, and they didn't qualify. And so I went through 6 different lenders to try and find them mortgage, and nobody would lend. Finally, I wrote a letter to Dick, and I said, listen, you know her income's gonna increase. This is a beautiful mom and a daughter. This is their home. You gotta believe me. I just laid it all out for him, and he went ahead and filled out the loan application, and ended up getting them a loan for the home, and they moved in, and really felt like I just given birth to triplets. It was the happiest day of my life.
That's great. I love that story. I haven't heard that story before.
No.
JJ, was there a time, a thing, or a day, or that you knew that, oh my gosh, I absolutely made the right decision in going into resale real estate?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think there's a lot of days over the course of time that you realize, wow, this is a significant moment. I'd say probably around that year 3 mark. So kind of as Mahtty talked about, year 3 is where we really started to feel the momentum, and our clients were really giving us the feedback, wow, you guys do this differently, and really were telling us that we're doing a great job. Now, I didn't feel like the full success was there, but by year 5, which would probably be the next jump, we knew based on the past few years of feedback from clients and how many referrals they were passing along, that we were really, really starting to move and go the right way. We had one client I can think of specifically around that year 3 mark that made an impact for me. We shouldn't have even had a chance to interview with this client, but a realtor brought us up in their presentation, and the doctor was a smart guy. He said, I got to bring these Kanick brothers in and see what they're all about. They ended up using us. They had a great experience. And next thing you know, he referred 3 people over the next 3 months who ended up going and selling and closing deals with us. At that time, that was a huge, huge win for our business. But it really taught us, you never know which client could become your biggest fan. You never know what's going to be the thing that slingshots you to the next level. But I really knew at year 3, there was no looking back. I was in it for the long haul.
That's great. A little confidence builder too, right?
Yes.
So when prior clients, and this is true for both of you, when prior clients, either they bought a new home or they've purchased a home through you or listed a home with you, JJ, so when they refer you business, as you just described, how do you think they describe their experience with you? I mean, that's going to be important because those are the things to zero in on that could make somebody successful, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and that's I think a good frame of reference to keep is that every client is different and everybody's expectations are different. So when our clients go to refer us later on, it's amazing the different things that people love or take away or tell their friends, oh, you won't believe they do this. So it is different across the spectrum of depending on the client that refers. But what we hear most often is everybody on our team, the thing that we overarchingly hear is, we know that you care. You guys are always available. You're over communicating. You're always texting us. You're always calling us. You're always telling us what to expect. I've never had a client yet who's told me, I hear too much from you, or I don't want to hear from you. So I think a big thing coming into this business, just to be aware of, is you are going to get calls after hours. This is an after hours business. When everybody else is done with work, they're going to be calling you. This isn't, I can tell you, you talk about mentors or people that supported you early on. I think about my wife before when we were dating, but how many times I would leave the dinner table to take phone calls from clients. That having that support to allow me to do that has definitely gotten me to where I am. And lucky for me, she's my wife and she puts up with a lot more of those calls now. But I think that's the expectation level.
Oh my gosh, no kidding. What about you, Mahtty? What do people say? What do you think that those referrals are hearing about you when you're doing business with somebody?
Referrals is such a big part of our business, and I think in the new home world, maybe they don't really see it as a huge part, but it really is. One of the first things I did at the latest community that I'm at right now is I actually went and door knocked every home that's existing in our area. There's about 240 homes, and introduced myself and said, we're your new neighbors, and I had approval to create a little referral program, and we've actually received sales from it. So referrals are extremely important, and the referrals that we do get, it's always about just how they were treated, what an easy process it was. If there was anything stressful, we were Johnny on the spot and just took care of it. Everybody has my cell phone. It may appear that we are 10 to 5 or 11 to 6 in the new home industry, but my phone rings till 10 o'clock at night and starts at 6 in the morning. I get texts and constant emails, and so we're just there for them, and that's what they pass on when they're referring someone to us, that they're going to be taken care of.
I guess what I hear is that customer service is absolutely critical, regardless of selling resale or selling new homes. Of course, I mean, you're selling the most expensive thing people usually buy. So let me ask you, Mahtty, is there something about your personality, or is there a characteristic about you that you think makes you really successful?
So I've been told, and I believe it also, that I have a servant's heart, and I don't mean go serve people as in be taken advantage of, but serve for the sake of serving, so that good comes of it for all. And so just have a servant's heart, and know that when you give, it's good for all. And I always think about how I want to be treated. So for me, when a guest walks in the door, I equate it to them walking into my home as if I was having a birthday party or a gathering at my house. How am I going to greet them from the time they're in the parking lot and actually walking up to the door? I'm usually greeting people before they even walk in, before they even got to the door, because everyone's experienced it when they walk into a party and no one says hello to them and they feel a little awkward. I don't ever want any guests walking into our new home sales office feeling awkward in any way. I want them to feel welcome, and I want them to let any fear just drop right off of them, because it is very scary. Whatever aspect of real estate that they're choosing to invest in, it's scary. And we want to be right there letting him know that we got you.
I love it. What about you, JJ? Was there anything about like just who you are that you think if somebody's considering this, you know, this has definitely got to be part of their just makeup, who they are?
I love Mattie's answer. Having a servant's heart is huge. And it's obviously what's made her so successful. I always point to, you have to like people. If you don't like people, don't get into any type of real estate. I can promise you that's not going to be, you're going to have to deal with a lot of people, and you have to want to serve other people. So I think that's that second part of it is you're serving others, not for your benefit, but to serve others. So there's going to be a lot of deals that don't work out. So people, you know, think that there's going to be a commission at the end of the line. Not always. So you are serving others. And if you keep in mind that you are serving others and you do like dealing with people, even through challenges, I think this is the best career path for you is anything in real estate.
Oh my gosh, that's both great answers. I love it. So last question.
I gotta jump in for a second.
Okay.
I came across an award that I won 30 years ago, and it was a Miss Congeniality Award from the contestants, Miss Newport Beach pageant. And that probably is the most important award I could have ever received to date, because that was chosen by the contestants. And I remember the girls saying, gosh, Maddie, you're actually, I care if our hair's out of place, or you're teaching us how to do our turns or how to walk, when maybe some contestants might be trying to figure out how to trip you. You know? And
Right.
so I've always just had that heart of helping others. And good usually just comes, to all from it.
Yeah. Well, I love the point too that JJ made, in that you both face this. Not everybody that comes in or that you deal with or that you're serving results in a commission, but the effort is always there, because it has to be. Otherwise, you're just not who you are. So I love that. Okay, final question for each of you. So tell me what it is you like very most about choosing new home sales. I know we talked about the number one reason, but what is it that you like best about the career itself? Because you're kind of in it for the long haul. You've been in it for quite a while. You're in it for the long haul. You're tremendously successful, both of you. So what do you think you love about the career choice?
For me, I love the industry and the people in it. I have made the most amazing friends and connections in the industry. I stepped out from it for a while in 2000, and it was Toll Brothers that brought me back in. And when I came back in, it was just like the same friends, including you, were there. And I love having that connection industry-wise. As far as what I'm really getting out of it right now and where I'm at in life is the mentorship. I love mentoring new representatives. And it's not that they're a certain age. They could get into new home sales at a more mature age, but they're new to the industry. And I love getting the opportunity to help coach and mentor and just share what I've learned. And if they have any questions, I love that they come and they ask, and whatever I can give. I get a lot of joy out of that right now.
And you're good at it. I've experienced that with some of our people. What about you, JJ? Is there anything particular that you just love about your career? I mean, as crazy and chaotic as it is.
The nice part is you get to learn so much more about different parts of the industry the more that you go along. So you're dealing with more home builders, you're going to see developers, you get to see people that are flipping homes. So the thing that still brings you to work is the same thing that brought me to work when I was starting, which is you're never going to have the same day. And you get to see new things all the time. And then as an aside of that, you get to keep meeting people. So you're making friends. I mean, I live in the area that I serve. So when I go get coffee or go to dinner, well, pre-COVID, I guess, when I go to dinner, you run into people from the community, which is fantastic. You get to share in the joy that is this community, and you really get to talk about things like life. Everybody gets to connect. I think that's just an awesome thing about resale is if you build a business around where you live, you're always going to be around people that you're constantly making new friends, which is fantastic.
That's great. Well, I can't thank the both of you enough for your input, for your insight, just for your encouragement, your inspiration, for all the people that might be interested in getting their license and trying to decide what they're going to do with it. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, bye for now.
JoAnne.